Hi, welcome to Bruce's Garage. I'm Bruce, and this is my garage. I continue to see people online and read about people that are nervous about applying ceramic coating. So today, we're going to just talk about the basics, the fundamentals of installing a ceramic coating. I'm going to give you a demo. I'm installing Ethos Graphene Pro version 2 coating on this 2016 Jeep Wrangler. And really, it doesn't matter what coating, there's some constant principles that apply pretty much to every coating. And I'm going to review those with you to make this easier for you to do at home. So come on in and let's have some fun. So I'm going to start on the hood here because it's an easy spot for me to show you some of the basics of applying the coating before I do the roof. So you typically want to do those flat surfaces first, the roof, the hood, trunk, and then work your way down. Now, a couple things you need. Number one, you need gloves. Protect yourself because you don't want to get the coating on your skin. Number two is you're going to want obviously have your coating, your applicator. In this case, I'm using a sponge type applicator. There's multiple kinds of applicators. Frankly, it really comes down to personal preference. If the coating manufacturer gives you an applicator, I typically use that applicator, but there can be suede applicators. This is the sponge applicator. There's larger ones. So all different kinds of applicators that you can use. There's foam pads. Doesn't really matter what type of applicator. Just you'll want to make sure that you've got the applicator handy with you so that you can apply the coating. Then I'm going to do two towels. So I have one short nap fiber towel that will be used to be the first leveling towel. And then I have a longer nap that I use for the second towel. So one of the key things to do with coatings, number one, when you're going to use a coating, read the directions. You've heard me say that many times, I think, too. Read the directions. Every coating has got a little bit different twist to it. And what I mean by that is when you apply the coating to the surface, you then wait. You want the coating to cross-link or connect with the paint surface. But you need to know when to remove it, especially those solvents that are going to emerge to the surface that are excess. You want to remove those once the coating has bonded with or started that process of bonding. Well, how do I know? Well, that's called flash time. So the flash time is usually indicated in some way visually. Often, and with the case of the graphene coating here from Ethos, it'll have a rainbow effect, so kind of an oil slick on water type appearance. That doesn't mean it's ready to be leveled. It will then turn to a haze or a light fog. It's at that point the coating is ready to be leveled. And by leveled, we mean removing those carrier solvents from the surface and then follow that up with that long nap fiber top. That's basically the process. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is shake the coating. All coatings need to be shaken before you apply them. Then we're going to apply a line on this pad, a little bit more than we would normally do because it's the first time. And so we're kind of priming this pad. Open the coating, and then I'm going to prime it. Again, a pretty reasonable amount of coating is on there. Cap back on, and then I'm going to apply the coating on the surface. When applying the coating, basically, I am just dragging this microfiber applicator across the surface. And I am just, in this case, these are some really tight areas. Normally let me show you here. So if I want to go in this area right here, I'm going to box this in So I kind of draw a border, and then I'm going to fill it in straight line patterns. And I'm cross hatching. So I'm going one horizontal and one vertical. That's all I'm going to do right now because I want to see how long this takes before I need to remove it. So once this coating haze is over, I'm going to wipe this off. It should be nice and slick. Shouldn't be grabby or overly wet. I don't see really anything on the microfiber towel itself, which is a good sign that I'm not leveling too early. It doesn't feel really grabby, so I'm probably not waiting too long. Not really putting any pressure, just wiping across the surface. Then I'm going to take my second microfiber and go across all those surfaces that I coated. When I'm using two microfibers, not only do I like to use a short and long nap, I typically will use different colors so I remember which one is my first leveling towel and which one is the second towel. One of the other principles that's really important is, and it sounds very simple, but is to make sure you know what you've coated and what you haven't. So I typically try to follow like a body line. So for example, I've done about up to here, and I'm going to go down to here and keep moving in this direction. It's okay to overlap. Just make sure you're leveling beyond the surface in which you coated. If that's because a lot of times you may push coating over onto the other surface. And if you don't level that, that will leave a mark, which is called a high spot, because that coating never got leveled. So it's a noticeable difference in what that appears versus another part of the coating. So I'm going to shake it up again, just a little bit here, and I'm going to add some more coating to the applicator. Again, I'm not going to add as much as I did the first time, just a few drops. And then I'm going to apply across the surface here. And again, I'm boxing in and then starting my crosshatch pattern. Again, if I'm unsure, I know about on the time. And then when I first apply my microfiber, again, I can kind of feel whether this is grabby, kind of sticky, or whether it is pretty smooth, and it's pretty smooth. because I'm really not putting any pressure at all when I'm leveling this coating. Again, reminder, make sure that you're going over the area that you coated. So going beyond that area. Because it's not uncommon to push coating across to either the area you previously coated or into an uncoated area. And then that's going to leave a high spot if you don't level that. So I'm always going beyond the area in which I've placed coating down. Then I'm going to follow that up again with my second microfiber. All right, so we're going to continue on this side of the vehicle with the hardtop here and then our doors. And then we should be just about done. One of the things that I always do when I'm coating vehicles is I always coat the door jambs and trunk jamb as well. Those areas, it really helps to coat those because then it's very easy to clean. So that's just a little detail that sometimes people forget about. I would encourage you to coat those areas. You know, I'm almost done with this vehicle. This is a 30 ml bottle. If you can tell, there's not a whole lot. I probably have used, I don't know, not a ton, that's for sure. There's probably at least 20 mils left. So you should be able to get either 2 coats, although it's not necessary to put on 2 coats, or another vehicle. All right, so we're going to move to the front door here, and then we just have that small quarter panel in the front fender. And I will do these door jambs, and the coating will be complete. If you're finding this video helpful, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, certainly would be grateful if you subscribe. I do have a whole playlist around ceramic coating, so I encourage you to take a look at that if this is of interest to you. So I have a lot of different videos on ceramic. You can do this. All right, I'm going to move to the last panel. Then I'm going to come back and we'll just have some final thoughts and some last advice. So I appreciate you watching. Well, I've completely coated this entire Jeep. So it is done. I've got some interior work to do, but overall it's pretty well done. So we coated using Ethos Car Care Graphene Pro Coating version 2. Went on super easy. Anybody can do this. This is not that difficult. So whether it's Ethos Pro Coating, one of their other coatings, or frankly, another brand of coating, you can apply your own coating, and I hope this has been helpful. Just remember a couple tips. Number one, prep is king, so make sure you prepare the surface appropriately. Number two, take your time. You're in no rush. If you're a pro, different story. But if you're a DIYer, you don't have to rush. And you're better off if you take your time so that you don't miss spots, you don't miss high spots, and have a method. So if you're going to coat half the hood, then coat half the hood and follow the body lines and keep going. And that way you don't forget your place. I know that sounds trivial. It's not trivial. It can happen, especially when you're at home and you get distracted. Sometimes you forget exactly where you're at. So just have a process. That way you'll be all good and you won't forget. I appreciate the thumbs up. Remember that there's links in the description for every single thing that I've used. And feel free to jot anything in the comments if you have any questions, if there's anything you wish I would have covered, or if you have a different approach. Certainly open to hearing all of it. I appreciate your time, appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a great day. And remember to go have fun in your garage.